Ascension Seekers. I'm Brian A. Moore, and I'll be your host for this session of More Ascension. More Ascension is working to help you move to a higher level of consciousness on the light path. I did manage to make a final What Are You video, just not the one I had planned. On the way to making the What Are You summary conclusion video, reality set in. Y'all need not only to hear this, but seriously consider listening and taking action, if ascension is your intention. Now, I did an unscientific impromptu survey of several people who follow my channel, and I found that not one had made time to define themselves. I've concluded you may have HBP. I believe people may need to see a doctor, likely a neurologist. You may have HBP. What is that, you ask? New illnesses come out every day, and I'm founding a new metaphysical illness whose acronym is HBP. It's Hypnotized Brainwash Programming, to be known as HBP. Hypnotized Brainwash Programming, or HBP. It's thought to have been around for centuries. HBP is known to cause people not to research or investigate or define what you truly are. You could have HBP if you are constantly and consistently being distracted away from using any energy to investigate yourself or anything that is not clinically found to be biologically or physiologically imperative based on an acute or chronic condition requiring serious medication or hospitalization. Let me repeat that. You could have HBP if you are constantly and consistently being distracted away from using any energy to investigate yourself or anything that is not clinically found to be biologically or physiologically imperative based on an acute or chronic condition requiring serious medication or hospitalization, not even self-analysis. In the Raw Material, Book 2, page 66, when discussing the negative or the dark path, Ra states, quote, "We remind you that the negative path is one of separation." What is the first separation? Separation from the self. Did you get that? Separation. The self from the self is always the first order of business to establish external control. And as I stated in my initial video, ascension is not for everyone. Neither the light path nor the dark path. Either can be ascended to. If your world is satisfactory or even better, ascension may not be for you. But do you know what that means for your next incarnation? For those interested in ascension, are you woke enough to define or redefine yourself? Are you? You may hear people say, you need to know who you are to know your true self. Some say we are what we eat, we are what we think, we are what as we do. Socrates states, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Ascension is the process of spiritual awakening that moves you to a higher level of consciousness. And wisdom is a higher level of consciousness. I agree and want to get to the who are you, the why are you, the where are you, the when are you, and the how are you from an ascension perspective. But you must know what you are to even approach being able to properly assess the ascension information that will be presented in this level of intense cutting-edge metaphysical information. For those who are serious about ascension, there is the question and the knowing, and I like that. It kind of reminds me of The Quick and the Dead and The Ghost and the Lightning. Great movies. The question is, what are you? The knowing is, you know what you are so well that you have never thought about it, and don't even think you need to think about it, because you just know, right? Right? Logic nor intuition need apply. Or you're too busy, or you roll it up to the all too famous, I'm a child of God. And if that works for you, it works for me. But tell me, have you ever had any supernatural experiences? Any? If so, did you investigate it? And if not, Have you ever wondered why you and most people don't research these experiences? Well, we know the strongest emotion is fear. So that's likely the emotion that is most used to drive your distraction from knowing thyself. Remember, the red ray root chakra is the first chakra to respond to these types of events. And if you are not prepared or spiritually mature enough, you'll respond with survival freeze that will catch and distract your attention. Or you'll be distracted by your orange ray sacral chakra that brings in your ego to push you away from doing anything except to be entertained, even to heaven or ascension. But I'm sure some, if not many people, may utilize this information for entertainment purposes. And for some, I'm sure it's too boring. And I'm cool with that. Please just leave a like. Please hear and listen to this. You have HBP. If you cannot definitively state in 2022 what you are, I'm seriously, strongly suggesting that you really need to put some of your energy around answering this question. Unless everything is going great for you, which could very well be the case, and out of over 8 billion people, there are millions of people within politics, school, work, religion, community, family, lovers, and haters who will definitely tell you what you are. I will not be one of them. I may tell you what I am, or what you could be generally, but not specifically what you are. For example, you've likely heard that political campaigns must not let the opposition define their candidate. And if you have not specifically defined yourself, how are you being defined, and by whom? Actually, here are several general or default definitions of what we are. And let me know if any of them resonate with you and enable the manifestation of your best self. The definition of the word people. People are 1, human beings in general or considered collectively. 2, the citizens of a country. Definition of the word human being. 1, a man, woman, or child of the species Homo sapiens, distinguished from other animals by superior mental development, power of articulate speech, and upright stance. 2, human being, a culture-bearing primate classified in the genus Homo, especially the species Homo sapiens. Human beings are anatomically similar and related to the great apes, but are distinguished by a more highly developed brain and a resulting capacity for articulate speech and abstract reasoning. Definition of the word Homo sapiens. Humans are the most abundant and widespread species of primate characterized by bipedalism and large complex brains. This has enabled the development of advanced tools, culture, and language. The definition of the word primate, a mammal of an order that includes the lemurs, bush babies, tarsiers, marmosets, monkeys, apes, and humans that are distinguished by having hands, feet that are similar to hands, and forward-facing eyes, with the exceptions of humans, are typically agile tree dwellers. Definition of the word man. A man is an adult male human. Prior to adulthood, a male human is referred to as a boy. Like most other male mammals, a man's genome usually inherits an X chromosome from the mother and a Y chromosome from the father. Sex differentiation of the male fetus is governed by the SRY gene and on the Y chromosome. During puberty, chromosomes which stimulate androgen production result in the development of secondary sexual characteristics, thus exhibiting greater differences between the sexes. These include greater muscle mass, the growth of facial hair, and a lower body fat composition. Male anatomy is distinguished from female anatomy by the male reproductive system. Definition of the word male. Adjective. Male, of or denoting the sex that produces small, typically motile gametes, especially spermatozoa, which with a female may be fertilized or inseminated to produce offspring. Noun, a male, animal, or plant. Definition of the word woman. 1. An adult female human being. 2. A female member of a workforce, team, etc. 3. A female person associated with a particular place, activity, or occupation. Definition of the word woman. 1. A adult female person. B. A woman belonging to a particular category as by birth, residence, membership, or occupation. 2. Womanhood. 3. Distinctively feminine nature, womanness. 4. A woman who is a servant or personal assistant. Definition of the word female. Adjective, female. Of or denoting the sex that can bear offspring or produce eggs, distinguished biologically by the production of gametes, ova, which can be fertilized by male gametes. A female animal or plant. Oh yes, very articulate definitions of what you are, right? Do you feel you are only these definitions? Which of these define your true beingness, or humanness as it was termed? Do you vibrate at a higher frequency than a primate human? Why can't you seem to bring yourself to define yourself? Why? Do you believe it to be accidental or purpose? What is the default answer? So you accidentally can't quite seem to make time to define yourself, really? Let's take a look at the organ that separates us from most of the other mammals on Gaia Earth, and you will see how it's very easy to get separated from our total self and be defaulted to alignment with our primate nature. We can even go to our lower nature, which is reptilian. The human Homo sapiens brain has 3 parts based on the MacLean's model. We'll focus on the oldest part, the reptilian brain or mind. 1. The reptilian brain is involved with primitive drives related to thirst and hunger, sexuality, and territoriality, as well as habits and procedural memory. On June 21, 2016, the PBS NewsHour stated that this was published today in the journal Science Advances. That the link between the hair of mammals, the feathers of birds, and the scales of reptiles suggests all of these animals, including humans, descended from a single reptilian ancestor approximately 320 million years ago. The website JinarÄjadÄsa reported the following on February 7, 2022 by JinarÄjadÄsa, titled, "Why is the brainstem sometimes called the reptilian brain?" Within the article lies this little gem of understanding. The 3 brains model and marketing. The idea that we have a reptilian brain, a limbic brain, and a rational brain has long seduced many people in the world of advertising, market research, and marketing. The triunic model allows us to consider separately 3 areas of people's physiological life that are very easy to learn and internalize: a rational instance, an emotional one, and an impulsive one. This has meant that in recent decades, the interest of advertising campaigns has focused on appealing to the reptilian and limbic brain, but not to the rational one. The reason is that, considering that these 2 are more rooted in our evolutionary history, they are easier to predict and at the same time produce more powerful purchasing needs, given their importance and their hierarchical position as pieces of the brain, more important than the neocortex. Advertisements and marketing campaigns have gone from thinking of the customer as an agent who needs to be informed about the characteristics of the product to rationally decide according to their interest, to try to touch a chord with the people to sell them a sensation associated with the product more than the product itself. And the truth is that this change of approach is considered a great success. Unlike what happened in the 60s today, it is very common to try to seduce potential buyers without talking about the characteristics of the product or its price. Emotions are simply invoked or stories easily associated with a lifestyle that we want to make our own. Bypassing the logic of the rational brain and targeting basic emotions and desires is proving so profitable that even expensive products such as perfumes or cars are promoted this way. That's the end. Do you see why these definitions could manifest the lives, the country, and the world that we're experiencing? In the prior videos For this What Are You series, we reviewed the architecture of the human being. Video 1, What Are You, Who Decides, presented the understanding that vibration and frequency of your thoughts, words, and actions are clearly determinants of what you are. Video 2, What You Are Mentally, Physically, Spiritually, presented the hermetic principle of all is mind, and how the sensory organs provide input through your mind to the real you, your spirit, and how most humans agree with this religiously. Video 3, What Are You? The unseen components, presented the channeled log 1 raw material from LL Research. And I'm sure I likely lose many fearful people who have had their higher chakras shut down by various means. We presented the human subtle energy bodies, human energy centers, and other energy components and their correspondence to organs and colors of the unseen architecture of the human. We delineated the light path from the dark path of ascension through the choices that one makes. We presented several exercises at the end of each video in this series to help those who needed to work on defining what you are. More Ascension presented and recommended several metaphysical exercises. 1. To create the I am affirmations to help you define and or redefine what you are from an ascension perspective. 2. To meditate, seek the highest truth, and to follow your inner guidance. 3. To feel your energy body through internal vibration and pressurization through your own hands. 4. To feel your energy circulation throughout your body by closing your energy field. 5. To see your aura or subtle energy field around your body. More Ascension suggested you would have more success if you had been meditating regularly. We also provided the images of books that provide further details of some of the highest knowledge presented via science and intuition. So, you know what you are, do you? Recall this Bible verse, Genesis 1:26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image." Are you familiar with the Adamu? After primates evolved to their current state, humans advanced instantaneously in what factors out to be not impossible but what are considered incredible odds through the process of evolution. People are afraid of the truth of our reality or don't want to consider it. Some people are even afraid of believing the very scriptures they purport to follow. Are you familiar with human chromosome number 2 in your DNA? Actually, my second favorite science-based author after Zecharia Sitchin is Greg Braden. In his highly acclaimed and consumable book, Human by Design, you can read all about the debate about human evolution and more specifically the debate around human chromosome 2. And there are 4 chapters in part 1 of the book. The chapters are 1. Breaking Darwin's Spell. Evolution is a fact, just not for humans. Chapter 2, Human by Design, the mystery of fused DNA. 3, the brain and the heart cells that think, feel, and remember. 4, the new human story, life with a purpose. And there are 4 more chapters in part 2. I'll call attention though to part 1, chapter 4 in the section titled An Upgrade for the Human Story. Facts 1 through 3 are very eye-opening, but fact 4 is the biggest eye-opener. It states, and this is fact 4, DNA analysis reveals that the DNA that sets us apart from other primates is the result of a mysterious process of fusion that resulted in the second largest chromosome in the human body, human chromosome 2. The way human chromosome 2 was fused suggests something beyond evolution has made our humanness possible. The turning off or removal of overlapping functions and the fact that it happened quickly rather than slowly over a long period of time. This is where religion comes in and clearly states that a more advanced race of beings transformed us and bypassed a lot of evolutionary steps to create Homo sapiens sapien in their image. The same information also appeared in more known news organizations at the time. Human chromosome 2, video segment from Nova, quote, Judgment Day, Intelligent Design on Trial, unquote, reveals how genetic evidence helped to confirm an important component of Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, the common ancestry of humans and apes. In particular, it explains that humans have one fewer chromosome pair in their cells than apes due to a mutation found in chromosome number 2 that caused 2 chromosomes to fuse into one. Since the mid-1800s, biologists have generally shared the belief that all living things descended from a single common ancestor. Based on fossil evidence and comparative anatomy, Charles Darwin proposed that humans and great apes, which include chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans, share a common ancestor that lived several million years ago. More recent research has propped up Darwin's theory of common descent, also known as common ancestry. Genome analysis reveals the genetic difference between humans and chimps to be less than 2%. In other words, humans and chimps have DNA sequences that are greater than 98% similar. While the genetic similarity between human and ape strengthened Darwin's theory, a significant unexplained discrepancy remained. While great apes all have 48 chromosomes, 24 pairs, humans have only 46, 23 pairs. If humans and apes shared a common ancestor, shouldn't both have the same number of chromosomes in their cells? The phases through which chromosomes replicate, divide, shuffle, and recombine are imperfect, as DNA is subject to random mutations, and mutations do not always produce harmful outcomes. In fact, many mutations are thought to be neutral, and some even give rise to beneficial traits. To corroborate Darwin's theory, scientists would need to find a valid explanation for why a chromosome pair is missing in humans that is present in apes. A fundamental part of the process by which science is done involves developing a testable prediction, also known as a hypothesis. Scientists offer 2 possible explanations for the discrepancy. Either the common ancestor had 24 pairs and humans carry a fused chromosome, or the ancestor had 23 pairs and apes carry a split chromosome. Their focused search led them to find a mutation on one human chromosome that explained what had happened. So, do you know what you are? And because you also have a spirit that represents a component of God the Creator, that means you, unlike other primates, have much more ability to create or co-create your reality. That is the part of the definition you need to fill in. But that's my humble opinion. You obviously do not have to define yourself. You are very welcome to default to the default definition. We have free will to take the default definition or choose to define ourselves and to see what the Creator in you will present in your newly defined reality. So, if you've gotten this far, this video is catalyst that your higher self has led you to view. Now it's up to you and your free will. What is your state of consciousness? Do you want to be woke or awake or asleep or a zombie or just entertained? We affirm what we are. What is your affirmation about what you are? What are you? What is your I am? Here, I'll suggest another exercise that can help one define what you are. 1. Get a paper and pencil or pen. 2. Draw a straight line down the middle vertically and one across horizontally. 3. Label the top left personal. Label the top right family. Label the bottom left work or job, business. Label the bottom right community. Write as many I am affirmation statements about yourself that you can in each quadrant. 5. Begin to combine and condense these statements into a good set of definitions of yourself related to these subject areas. Then, live by your affirmations. Repeat all steps above on another paper, except replace the labels with mind, body, and spirit. Define your mind or the mind you want. Define your body or the body you want. Define your spirit or the spirit that you want. We affirm what we are. What do you affirm that you are? What is your state of consciousness? Awake, working at both physical and spiritual to improve yourself and others. Woke, begin by complaining against an issue one disagrees with or being anti. Asleep, likely overwhelmed and frozen in place with fear or passivity. Zombie, a full agreement and acceptance of the status quo, follows orders 100%, wants no change, willing to go backwards. Entertained, planning and enjoying the fight against the growth of light. What would happen if a person with HBP, remember hypnotized brainwash programming, defined or redefined the definition of themselves? It would begin or continue to break the hypnotized brainwash programming condition. If not, you are asleep, at least to the wholeness of all that you are. You have HBP, hypnotized brainwash programming, and there is no pill for it. So call your consciousness, do the spiritual work necessary to wake up and destroy the HBP so you can accelerate your journey of ascension. And we hope you will continue with us on this fundamental journey of ascension. And as we present more information, and if it vibrates with you on any dimension, hit that like button if you want more ascension. Subscribe if your intention is to gain more ascension, and hit that bell to stay out of hell trouble. Again, you can also leave an email at moreascension@gmail.com if you prefer to have a private communication on any subject, question, or experience regarding our video content at no charge. We are More Ascension. Thank you for joining us.